They are not the normal members under some sort of other alias. Those are actual stand-ins. So that
Mm.
may have a little bit of an effect here on DogChamp. With one of them playing the IO, maybe not. IO, at least among professional players, is not always the most complicated to sort of get what you need out of it, but we'll see if that affects the team's chemistry. Of course, I don't want to sound too harsh, but for a team that has 2 points on the board right now, your chemistry was not looking massively overwhelming in the first place, so maybe this is a change of pace that can actually help them out.
Yeah, and we'll see. Sometimes having stand-ins, it can be a good thing. It can be a breath of fresh air, especially when you can throw maybe some random expertise on a few heroes your opponents might not be prepared for. As if you look at it, I guess four Zoomers only had maybe 10 minutes to prepare, if anything, versus what maybe these new players could throw in. I'd love to see maybe they rush a pick. Is something I would really like to see from DogChamp is if the game allows maybe the visage picked up for Lukey Lukey as they had run it a few times before. It got changed around a little bit, especially the talents in a way to help the birds even more. I think that'd be honestly kind of cool to see, especially because a hero like Techies, who's half the time killing himself, having the birds just swoop in after the fact to clean him up might be a nice, cool choice for him. But at the same time, then there might be a little bit too farm heavy. But still in the Pango, hey, four Zoomers still know who they're playing against offlane wise in the DogChamp lineup, so they're really trying to limit him specifically.
I do love that. You've got Lukey Lukey on one team, then you've got Gunner, Husky, Z Freak on the other. So basically, I guess even Moo, let's throw him in there as well. Everyone in North America who has any sort of specialization in Pangolier is basically in the room right now. So if there was ever a time to pick the Pango, this absolutely would be it. DogChamp, though, gonna respond with the Shadow Shaman. So that gets you a little bit more locked down in general, but nothing that really is going to deal with the Pango specifically. But looking at the four Zoomers lineup, that Pangolier you have to assume is either going to be basically, the 2 or the 5, somewhere in that range. So maybe you're a little bit less concerned with a direct counter against it.
Yeah, and hey, Shadow Shaman, super simple setup. If you were ever going to stick one hero on the other side of the map, try to find a relocate play. Shaman and Lion are both incredibly good for that explicit reason, but at the same time, I think they pick it just because you're going to be a little hard pressed for actually stopping that shackle here. Of course, the Dead Ringer is just techies running in and throwing that silence out, but then your techies is going in really just reactively. So honestly, not too annoyed with that Shadow Shaman pickup. Doubles down on the push strat as well. If they get set up on these buildings, then Four Zoomers actually don't have the best Serpent Ward hitters right now. Techies, maybe he can poke on them from afar, but everyone else really is going to have trouble. And now, covering their bases a little bit, they pick up the Sand King to say, hey, if you guys were planning on picking an illusion character, well, now we've got the Sand King that you're going to have to deal with. So not the A-lister offlaner that we typically see, but with Mars taken out and Tide already picked up by your opponents, honestly, not a bad choice. And, well, we'll have to see. For Zoomers pick Drow. Well, that's a little bit of a problem, because that plays not only really well versus the Sand King, just having that silence to kind of stop him in his tracks, really well versus the Luna, who's going to be trying to get on top of these buildings, and even better versus the Io. And, hey, well, we couldn't break the Shackle before. Now we've got the Gust to play with, and that's a very strong Coastabile hero, one of his best, so a little bit scared now. Four Zoomers definitely know what kind of game they're playing.
Yeah, and now if you look at the DogChamp lineup, without Blink Daggers on the Sand King for sure, maybe even the Shaman, your ability to close that gap against the Drow Ranger is going to be kind of limited. If SK maybe gets the right angle and then can Burrow Strike in, then sure, but then you're sort of assuming that you've already sort of gotten the edge on a Drow Ranger in the first place, which is not going to be easy. So, okay, that's certainly going to maybe alleviate some of those concerns. DogChamp getting the puck, presumably for Ray Lalisa, a hero that can be a little bit more mobile. Maybe that's their key to getting onto the Drow, but what you gain in mobility and sort of nuke damage, you are sacrificing a whole heck of a lot in terms of your durability.
Yeah, and really glad they banned out the Kunkka here. I think that was pretty much a prerequisite for this puck to get set up here. Now, in terms of Gunner's hero, and they definitely do need a Gunner hero, well, what do you want? You could pick the Queen of Pain, but really, do you want to pick Queen of Pain? Void Spirit's an option as well, but
Oh, the LD.
okay, they just hit him up with the LD. Well, I want to say Force Zoomers are still experimenting here with their draft, but they also just have some mainstays. Husky's gonna lock in that Pango. I'm a little bit scared for DogChamp. I think this is Force Zoomers really at their best. We haven't seen the LD get cracked pre-patch or post-patch, and I think it's only to the benefit of Gunner here. I think they're gonna have a really fun game, but that's where DogChamp, they gotta constantly be looking for kills, constantly be setting up, and if they ever drop the ball here, I think they might just get outpaced.
Yeah, this is going to be rough for them. Your Luna, with an IO to back it up, is going to have a pretty solid time farming, but now you have to outfarm both the Drow and the Lone Druid. That makes life quite a bit more difficult. So you're going to have to balance that. As you said, you want pickoffs, you want constant aggression, but you can't do it at the expense of the Luna's farm unless you're planning to win the game in about 25 minutes. So we'll see if DogChamp can sort of pull off that kind of tightrope walk. It's not going to be easy, but we have seen a couple of teams today maybe defying the odds at least a little bit.
Yeah, and the only problem is they've got so much jump. If they ever find their way onto Costa Bela, the problem is the harder you jump onto the Drow, the more likely you're hit with the 4-man Ravage. I think a huge aspect of this game is how fast Stonebank's able to get his BKB and then just kind of invalidate the damage coming through. But at the same time, with both the cores, both the LD and the Drow play really well into the Luna. So going late game versus those heroes, I just hope that this Luna isn't countered in the core matchup so hard that they're not able to take it to those later stages.
It is going to have to be a concern for them as well, we get this one underway. DogChamp just looking to, well, make a little noise maybe on the back end of this. We've been kind of ever so slightly clowning on them a little bit as they are sort of near the bottom of the standings, just that one game above the cut as we mentioned, but at this point you don't really have a whole lot of room to maneuver in terms of upward mobility. That is just going to be the way that it is. But that also means for these last couple of series, if you're DogChamp, you're kind of playing with house money. You don't have a whole lot to lose here. Elimination has been taken off the table, and your chance at an upper bracket slot is only technically alive. So try something out. We'll see what they can do. They do have the 2 stand-in situation, but I feel like maybe they could be a lot freer compared to 4 Zoomers who are still maybe feeling the pressure to try and get some points looking for the upper bracket spot.
Yeah, and exactly, and it is that division because for Zoomers, they need to get points. They do need to separate. The middle of the pack is very close to each other, and I think that's where a 2-0 would definitely put them in that advantageous position. And at the same time, they 4 Zoomers kind of feel like the NA Grim Reaper here. They've always had an advantage versus a lot of these NA squads, and I think this could just be them kind of proving themselves even further. And look at Gunner. He's got the bear in a really cheeky spot here, but he's going to snipe out that bounty rune, it looks like. And unfortunately for DogChamp, I think they're going to come back and realize what's happened, and he just immediately teleports his bear. Not much they could do about that. Really smart from Gunner.
Just sort of sends it around and thinks, you know what, we're only taking a fight there if somebody just massively overextends, right? So you don't really need the bear. You're feeling just fine without it. You get a first hit root onto Ray Lalisa as well for good luck. And, well, I don't know the last time I saw a Puck versus Lone Druid mid lane ET. I'm sure it happened before, but this just feels kind of weird. And normally the Puck is the one who sort of makes his money poking and prodding, but up against the Spirit Bear, the roles might be a little reversed.
No, definitely. The one thing that Ray can count on is just the creep push. There will be a point where Gunner is just forced to take all of his creeps underneath tower, and of course he's going to get extremely farmed in the process, but that leaves Ray up to rotate, and I think that's where we are going to see the mid laners kind of diverge from each other, and it's an opportunity for the Puck to make appearances in those side lanes. Nature Lover, though, holy cow, he just blew up. The Gush with the harass, it was just way too much damage for him to take.
Well, first blood to 4 Zoomers, was not anticipating that this early on, but as you said, just not quite understanding what was going to come his way. Maybe not knowing that Moo had the Gush even, because he didn't really have the Tidehunter committing too much to any sort of early fighting, but by the time you find out, it's a little bit too late to do anything about it. So Four Zoomers strike first. Z-Freak still fighting to prove that Techies has a spot in the new patch. And on the other side of the map, Ekin going to get himself taken down, and Lukey's getting shoved back here as well. His regen situation is not great. Hopefully, yeah, there is still a salve in the Shadow Shaman, so we can TP in and heal up, but both of the side lanes, at least in the very early stages, ET, going pretty well for the Four Zoomers.
Yeah, and I think really just getting caught by Husky's level 2 there, just a little bit too much magic damage coming out and through, and that's also where I think Ekin needs to establish sentry control here for Lukey to kind of play in between. Lukey's also going for the greed build up here by just trying to get that Ring of Health as soon as he can. At the same time, though, they've made it through the first wave. Four Zoomers need their couriers. They need a little bit of a reset here, but that's where I don't know how much better this lane actually gets for Lukey, and Ekin. And that's an interesting word, yeah. Not really seeing a whole lot, but, well, it's gonna catch him if he hides in the trees, I suppose. But, yeah, that's a new one for me.
Hey, yeah, I have questions about what that is. I think if you cut maybe... Yeah, if you cut a tree or two, then that becomes a little bit better, but without it, it's funky. We'll see what they plan to do with it, but for now, it's just gonna sit there, I suppose. Not really a whole lot that Four Zoomers have to be concerned about at the moment, as Husky gonna push his way forward a little bit. Shield crash comes through, a couple of right clicks, doesn't want to use the swashbuckle just in case Lukey was looking for that burrow, so Husky just playing a smart and at this point kind of efficient game, right? He's dealing damage without putting himself in any actual danger.
Oh, yeah, he's having a pretty free time as we speak, but honestly, Husky, whenever he gets to play his Pango, he always has a fun time, and oh, well, that's... I think he saw the inventory of Shadow Shaman. He didn't know where the ward was placed, but now Husky's just gonna question mark himself, I think, a little bit there. But the one drawback of Husky being on this Pango is being a melee 5, it's a tough life. You don't really have the speed to head over towards that small camp, get the pull-off every once in a while. And he placed another sentry, I believe, in range of the one placed up here, and I think if Husky stumbles upon it, well, that's pretty nice. And Ekin, he's forced to play now up. They've got a creep advantage on DogChamp. If Four Zoomers aren't too careful here, Kostabila is going to eat a lot of damage, but they also need to make the jump pretty soon here. And if they don't, well, Kostabila is just going to take it under tower, and I don't think they have the firepower to really put his life at stake. So Kostabila is just going to get another maybe 5 last hits pretty much for free.
Yeah, they just got to let it go. Lukey, at least, he's doing pretty good. 20 last hits on the board for him, so if you're not going to be aggressive, it should be because you are farming well, and that does still prove to be true here for him. So, at least you're not sacrificing everything here. The Sand King is still finding levels and still finding farm. Would like if maybe Ekin could step out for just a little bit so that you can get more solo experience, because you are still slightly behind the Drow by like a third of a level, something like that. So we'll see if that comes into play. Meanwhile, down bot, Stonebank trying to push a little bit further forward, wanting to not go too crazy, but at least play up aggressively against Moo and Z-Freak, not give them time to just kind of control this lane and start getting that full aggro out from the techies.
Yeah, and really, level 3, it's a nice note for the DogChamp side. It's when I think having that second point in Lunar Blessing just means to get to trade that much easier. And again, with how far up that tower is, it's not like they can really shove Moo out either. I think that's where we might see Z-Freak try and perhaps stack up the large camp, something for him to farm. I've seen him miss a few of those sticky bombs. It's a really finicky spell and very easy to dodge out as well with how fast the Luna is just by base, even helped out by the IO. So it's a little bit difficult for him to play unless he has that setup coming in from his team, but that's also where drawing the lane is completely fine. That's what Four Zoomers want here. They just want to farm, bide their time, wait for Moo really to get a Blink Dagger, and then we might see them go for some of those more dynamic plays, but dealing with your aggression is more important as, well, Z-Freak sniped the bounty. Not much you could do there, but Nature Lover is ready to fight, even though I think the Sticky Bomb will stop any more aggression or damage coming through here, as everyone just has to walk away.
Yeah, that's always interesting watching the Sticky Bomb come out. There's so much of a delay on it that I mean, I know that it's basically a forbidden word in Dota, but it's almost skill shot-esque on the techies, right? You have to get the timing right. It's not just sort of point and click and throw it down. So, like you said, with the Luna oftentimes you're sort of just sidestepping it enough so that it doesn't stick, and then, well, then you're just throwing a bomb out there that maybe hits the creeps, but isn't really doing the harass damage that you wanted it to. So we'll see how the accuracy sort of plays out for Z-Freak moving forward. Stepping out of lane for a moment to try and help Moo get to that level 6, but Ekin, he's rotated in. They're going to look for the kill to get the shackle down. Z-Freak's going to try and break this up, and well, he does that successfully. Stonebank, that's not a lot of HP. The gush comes out. Moo needs to be able to close the gap, but no, he doesn't, because the tower shot does it for him. Stonebank falls. Ekin will now die, as Husky has TP'd in here to help out, or maybe Ekin doesn't die. Nature Lover trying his best. But I think once Husky has the swashbuckle back up, he should be able to close the gap. With a little bit more mana, Ekin will turn around, start throwing the shackles out. That is healing him up quite nicely. So this Shadow Shaman, he refuses to die, and now Ray-Lelise is in. He drops the coil onto Moo. And they turn it. Okay, it just takes them too long. They don't quite have that last bit of nuke damage to finish off the Shadow Shaman, and that really does make up for a lot of the initial concerns, I think. If you're DogChamp there, you do still kind of take the worst of that trade overall, but at least you're able to get something out of that in a situation where it really just looked like they had overextended and lost.
Yeah, and really fortunate timing, and okay, they might go for Husky, and yeah, they do got him. And that's where I think Ray-Lelise, it's really fortunate that he had the mana, he had the TP from Fountain there, he was at full force gunner, he's going to be able to get Ekin for free, and at the same time, your mid tower did eat a ton of damage there as soon as Ray stepped out of the wave. Gunner just got to do LD things, but honestly, I think punishing for Zoomers, that's what you need to do. We need to see more from Ray. He's got an Arcane Rune, so he's got almost a double coil pretty soon here, but unfortunately, he has been forced into this position where bye-bye mid tower, just not much he could do after that point, and that's where I think slowing down Gunner, they know that he used his ulti, they know that the true form's on CD. If they can organize a kill onto him, that'd be massive, because if you're not killing the Drow or the LD, that's where 4 Zoomers might get into this very comfy spot where you just stick Moo in the lane where they're trying to push on DogChamp's side, they don't get the tower, and then all the time in the world bought for the 2 cores, and I think giving up this bot tier 1, it's tough, but you can't really afford to send Luki down there just yet, and this is a very unfortunate trade, but that's where Ray, they need more though, they need help, and they also scanned him out, so they might just back off, and this is a really sad rotation, because as soon as they see Luki, they know it might be time to run or kite back, and Ekin's trying, but they might just take the bear, which is not a bad trade, but at the same time, it's not what you want.
300 gold is nothing to scoff at, but you were hoping for kills in a team fight, and now the team fight may be coming their way, but not in the context they wanted it. Moo is just charging down towards this tower, looking to see if he can maybe drop a Ravage in a good spot, but Ray is doing a nice job of dodging this out so far, but he just jumped into Moo, and he's not going to be able to get back out. Gush gets the kill.
There goes it. Ooh, that's really tough, actually, because you lose the tower, everybody starts to move towards the top lane now so they can get a tower trade going for their own, but 4 Zoomers are just so far ahead of the exchange, and you lose your mid, that's really rough. Real rough.
Just can't really seem to catch a break at the moment, as the best part about that for 4 Zoomers, you get that kill, what did you really use, right? I mean, you had to TP some heroes maybe, Moo didn't have to use Ravage, nobody else even kind of had their ult at that point, so wouldn't have been able to use it anyway, but you hold the line, you get a tower, you find a kill. And DogChamp, I don't really know right now. It feels like more and more they're sort of banking on Stonebank, pardon the pun, to bail them out of this a little bit. And he is farming okay-ish. He's sitting in 3rd, and Nature Lover is obviously going to continue to help him out with the overcharge, but this is always something we talk about with the IO sort of partnership. You get the attack speed. That's great. The overcharge is very useful, but Stonebank is giving up a decent amount of his experience, so he won't have the levels to necessarily start sort of maxing out, get more into the Lucent Beam, things of that nature. That may affect his damage a little bit as Moo jumps in, Ravage deployed, hitting onto 4. They're going to jump all the way in, looking to take the Shadow Shaman out first as Ekin will fall. And now I think they realize Luki's here. They're going to try to hit him up. Husky can't connect just yet with the Rolling Thunder, but now he will get that lockdown, and not really sure what the Sand King's plan is. He could maybe burrow, into the trees, but they are immediately pinging that location out. The courier gets the flyover, and the sentries are still being thrown down. Luki is not going to be able to just sort of sneak his way out of this, but he doesn't have a TP, so he can't actually leave. Now the sticky bomb. Nope. Okay, Moo takes him down, and now this proximity mine is kind of there for no reason. But either way, they get the kill onto the Sand King. Their tier 1 tower is defended, and Moo, with his first Ravage of the game, I believe, makes it a good one.
Yeah, really good Ravage, stopping Ekin from really keeping the chain onto Moo, so he gets to reinitiate with the Rolling Thunder. This would be a big kill, though. The ulti onto Kostabile, and they hit him up with the relocate. The Guts, is it going to be enough to save him, though? I don't think so. That's a really nice pick. That's exactly what they needed, finding Kostabile on his lonesome. Without that, there would have been no rebuttal for all of the good plays that Four Zoomers had just made top.
Might still have a slight issue as Ray... Okay, no, he's getting out. Jumps across the river with the orb. He's going to be just fine. So, no response from Four Zoomers, and now Gunner... Be a little careful there. He was running into a couple in that west side jungle, but he makes his escape while down bot. Moo is hunting, trying to chase Ekin down, but he is guessing in the wrong direction. But there's still 14 seconds for the TP scroll to sort of cool down, so Shadow Shaman not out of here just yet. The question is, how well can Ekin dance? Can he actually get himself out of here?
Oh.
Not if that happens. Gonna get slowed up by both the bomb and the gush, and the mines do bring him down.
Yeah, and that's where Techies, when you've got friends, Techies feels pretty gross. And when that sticky bomb latches, it's actually deceptively long slow, because it slows you, I feel like, a little bit after while it's lashing onto you. The most problematic part of the spell is just getting that leash, which feels a little finicky sometimes. But once you're caught, especially the supports, it's just brutal. Not to mention, this aspect of Techies has really gotten way better. When it comes to proximity mining the high ground, there's just no time to react with the way that the delay got rescaled. So you could definitely just get popped in some of these entrances to the jungle. And well, Gunner's Bear is getting pressured up a little bit top, but hey, you're just going to be able to walk away here. And Gunner, are you going to try this? He's got Dust. And oh, he gets a root. Oh, well, he needs more damage, though.
Yeah,
and
Luki
there comes
is
Husky.
gonna have a shot at this with the burrow. He burrows underneath the Rolling Thunder. Neat play, but not enough. Gunner will still find the kill. Husky gets the assist, and honestly, that felt a little bit risky, but he was kind of assuming that Nature Lover and Stonebank were just gonna back off to farm instead of staying there to help out the Sand King, and that assumption proves to be correct and helps him get the kill.
Yeah, really well played. Feels, honestly, relatively easy for them to make that decision, but you also see how fast Stonebank and Nature Lover rotate out. They know that their time isn't now. They have to really wait, and farm's good for Stonebank. There's been a lot of emphasis on him getting the stacks, getting just pushed up with that overcharge, but going with this BKB first time, this is a huge risk. He needs the BKB timing in this game, but for going really both the Crystalist, both the Mask of Madness, and the Yasha, he is really not doing a whole bunch of damage. So once he gets this BKB, it's really going to be up to him finding the Eclipse, finding the levels in the meantime. But unfortunately, that's also where you talk about Io. Io's level 8, he's level 9. He definitely is feeling the sap right now. He doesn't have all of his spells available to them. And, well, Four Zoomers, looks like they're going to get a few free kills here. The smoke isn't going to end up panning out, and Ray's just going to be stuck kind of walking away and looking at the puck. I mean, blast hits are good, but it doesn't feel like we're seeing that snowball happening for him specifically. And aside from that one pick on Kostabile, not really seeing that same successful rotation into the triangle.
Yeah, he's not playing poorly, but we're not seeing him as the sort of pace-setting hero for DogChamp just yet. He's getting real close to Husky, but really going to be able to spot each other out. There is some good news for DogChamp, though, and that is the fact that Luki has got himself a Blink Dagger. So now this Sand King, sidestepping a bomb, but the Sand King is going to have a lot more to work with here in terms of being more active. So he might be able to step into the role that the puck hasn't quite hit yet either. His Gunner's going to get hit up, but that's just not going to work. They can't find the kill yet, but Gunner might want to be careful. There's a lot of heroes coming in. He's preoccupied with trying to get the kill into the Sand King, and I do believe they're going to get it now as his own reinforcements will arrive, but he is looking for even more. Trying to get onto Ekin, the Shackles, just kind of locking the Shadow Shaman down himself. And once again, Stonebank and Nature Lover have to just run. They really still aren't ready to go. The BKB's been finished off, but there's no damage to take in that fight. There's no point up in the Eclipse, so they back themselves away just as Four Zoomers are now looking to go into the Roche pit.
Yeah, and I think with the angle they took, it was barely scouted out, but really Ray is just trying to be annoying here. He's got the vision, and the timing's actually good for him to go for the steal. He's gonna have to time it. What a gust from Costabile. That's
big.
actually perfect.
And they might actually get the kill onto Ray as well. Yes, they will. That's just... Oh, that hurts. Stonebank, yeah, speaking of hurts, you got to pop the BKB there because he has taken way too much damage. Z-Freak got the kill onto the puck. The Aegis goes into the hands of Gunner, and if you're 4Zoomers, it's full steam ahead now. You've got the Aegis in your hands. You were already working with the lead. Now they can feel even more confident. And again, the Luna still not ready to go. And now without a BKB, Husky sees his moment. He's going to try to push in. Stonebank, though, does have a point up in the Eclipse now. So Husky alone cannot do that. He would take an Eclipse to the face that would almost assuredly kill him. But just run the Luna away. Get her out of the jungle. Stop her from farming. And 4Zoomers have already kind of won half the battle.
Yeah, and now looking at Stonebank, he has to make a pretty much impossible decision here. You can't really go back for the Manta style, but the problem is, are you going to pop your BKB every gust, every poke, every spell that comes out from 4Zoomers? It just makes the fight that follows pretty much impossible for him because you need to use it for Ravage. Meanwhile, Ekin is going on a warding adventure, and he does get a pretty deep one. Or no, not even. He doesn't. He just kind of dies because 4Zoomers are already making their way towards the bottom lane just to catch the wave that Ray was pushing out. But this is a really awkward position for DogChamp to be in. They've got 3 heroes down here, 2 cores. No one's really getting to farm, but I also feel like if they show in the wave and they saw that, yeah, they're pinging the proximity mine. They're just immediately flushed out. They're just continuously being forced into each other's side of the maps, and Stonebank just is stepping on toes, or rather his teammates are stepping on his toes when it comes to these lanes.
Yeah, that's the thing. All the farm on the map is basically already earmarked for the Luna, but, well, everyone else kind of needs to find theirs as well, because the progression, it has started to slow. Ray was able to get up a Blink Dagger, but we're not seeing that sort of damage, team fight sort of build coming out from him just yet. Luki's Blink Dagger has yet to be followed up by anything significant, so you now have the utility, you now have the extended range of initiation, but your initiation isn't going to be enough to actually kill anyone without either more items or the Luna showing up to the fights. Neither one of those happening as of yet, as the tier 2 will fall bot. 4Zoomers, they could just try for the high ground because DogChamp want the tier 1 tower mid. They even dropped the Serpent Wards for it, which means they're now not available for a defense down bot. And yeah, here comes the push. Gunner's going to make his way forward. Still 2.5 minutes on that Aegis. Luki, that's a nice play to try and break things up a little bit. You just have to make sure you don't get caught. He is falling back, and I think he's going to be okay. Husky, that's a very long roll forward, but should have enough time to, yeah, back himself all the way out and be just fine.
Yeah, and well, Bear is getting pretty low here, but they've already expended their cooldowns. They've already used the Serpent Ward, so Ekin isn't really providing anything further. They do kill the first Bear. That's something of note, and they actually relocate Stonebank back, so he still has his TP. He can afford to actually go towards the top lane or the jungle just in case, but 4Zoomers are not letting up. They're not giving this up without a fight, and Costabile timing his BKB perfectly. There's not really a good target for DogChamp to go on right now, and he's channeling his ulti. Luki's pounding the ground, but it's already too late.
Oh, the Ravage
need the bear,
dispersed!
But, oh!
Ravage into the blast off, hitting onto 3. Ekin's already dead. Ray's going to be falling here as well. Stonebank healing up thanks to the IO. Now popping the Eclipse, looking for any sort of damage. The only person he's hitting, though, is Moo, who's about the tankiest person on the map. Not who you wanted. And they don't even kill him. Moo's just able to walk away, and Moo faster on the draw, fastest gun in the server, and I mean, maybe Luki does something there with that epicenter, but he didn't even get the chance to try it.
Yeah, and really, all of the item timings, it's a perfect push from 4Zoomers. They get the pipe, they get the BKB, everything kind of works out. Unfortunately, Gunner did lose his second bear. Ekin really just being triumphant and standing, died while he was, having that shackle go for as long as he could, keeping the bear down. But like you said, the Ravage from Moo, it's just too good. Not even a Ravage with the Blink Dagger. He just was in the right position at the right time. They didn't have enough burst damage to follow up, even though the Eclipse was raining through. Everything just came a little bit too late. And most unfortunate, just Ray having to be as close as he could, just wasn't able to kind of feel the effect of that puck specifically. But they're getting chased right now. They're upset that you're in their side of the map, and they got to get Stonebank out.
Oh, Nature Lover, he got hit. He's going to try and help out his teammate now, but he actually gets hit by the root from the bear. from Gunner in general, as they will take Nature Lover down. But now, look at Stonebank. He's pissed. He's pushing in. He's trying to dish out damage. Once the BKB wears off on the Drow, this could get a little bit dangerous. And now the IO actually buying back to relocate in. But, yeah, the Gust is going to sort of break that play up. But I think that's really the first fight we've seen in quite some time that just goes DogChamp's way. And they're going to get Gunner a second time in the river. That's perfect. Kill everybody else off, you get the Aegis carrier alone, and you can just hammer away at him until he's dead.
Yeah, and DogChamp actually do a really good job kiting away from the fight there, and that's ForZoomer's greedy face showing, right? They channel the roll all the way in the mid lane, it stretches out. Husky has a freshly purchased Blink Dagger, which of course feels great, but again, you channeled it so early on, you only really get, I want to say, 3 seconds of actual roll time in that fight, and well, it just gets a little bit too large for you, and Ray hits the all-important coil that kind of ends up killing all the important members of ForZoomers. Not to mention, you didn't have Ravage, you didn't have your Bear, you kind of were out of resources at that stage, and I think they're lucky that Costa Bila is able to walk away with a BKB of his own. Otherwise, that really would have turned in DogChamp's favor. But still, I think ForZoomers can reset. Yeah, Husky. Oh my goodness.
It's just a straight up guess, I think, on the Blink, but it gets right into Ray, and can they keep this chase going? It's going to be kind of problematic. Yeah, that illusory orb should allow Ray Lilisa to just back off, but not a bad play from Husky. It's worth a shot. Rolling Thunder not on a long cooldown, so may as well go for it. But now, off the back of that, they're going to smoke up. They're looking to see if there's any stragglers in this west side jungle. There aren't, but they might be able to get a little bit of control down, because Husky's got a couple of wards in his inventory, so set that up. They get that vision down. Gunner, meanwhile, gets the Desolator up on the Bear, so damage output for ForZoomers is taking some significant strides forward. Now the Deso even further pushes their objective taking ability too. That Bear is just going to tear through towers.
Yep, and honestly, that's what they needed, because these pushes are getting a little bit extended here. I think that in terms of getting these tier 2s taken out, Stonebank's very interestingly going for a Silver Edge. I think trying to break the Bear, just make it so that way he can actually go toe-to-toe at the same time. Allows him to maybe be a little bit sneaky. If he ever gets gusted by Costa Bila, he can just try to Silver Edge away, use the movement speed of his hero, and they're definitely far from out of it. I think that ForZoomers, in giving up those deaths, really gave them a buffer to play with. Now, Luki is going to get taken down here. Be kind of a sad death to give, but... Oh, stuns through. Nice dodge from him, but
yeah, he'll go for
it's not going to matter.
Yeah. It's a nifty play, but he needed a lot more separation than that to get that TP off. The Serpent Wards are going to get cleaned up in the aftermath, too. That's a little bit of extra gold on top for ForZoomers, but now...
Oh, this is scary.
Is this play exactly? Yeah, I mean...
They got the wards. They're trying to defend their jungle here, but this is not who you want to break on. And Stonebank's going to start doing the DPS, but this is ugly.
Such a weird fight. Ray Lilisa, though, is able to find a kill, taking down Husky, but here comes Gunner. The Bear is just rushing in. Ray Lilisa has to try and fall back. He'll make it out for now, but that means Stonebank's in the fight. Eclipse doesn't really do a whole lot against the BKB, but the physical damage from the right clicks is still there. Cristale Man falling. He is so low, and they will get him. But Stonebank may be sacrificed on the other side. The Ravage will be deployed. They take down the Luna. Nature Lover falling as well, and Ekin, yeah, he should be dying here. He's rooted up and finished off. So initially that looked pretty fantastic, right? Ray Lilisa gets the first pick off. They isolate the Drow, get her as well, but then they just can't get away cleanly.
Really bizarre fight. Very, very strange. I understand why I think DogChamp wanted to go for it, but what they were looking for the Silver Edge break onto the Tidehunter and then hitting him up with the Waning Rift, so that way the Ravage doesn't actually end up getting off there. But at the same time, I don't know, ForZoomers kind of abandoned Costa Bila. He was just kind of stuck running around in circles trying to not die to the Luna. Very weird, but hey, at the same time, Ray survived. The puck was able to get out. He was able to get a little bit more farm, but the problem is still and remains the Bear, who is continuing to accelerate. He's going to have an AC pretty soon here. And again, LD with the shard at 15, it just feels like this hero has just been completely changed in a really broken way. And at the same time, you had a reason to use your Ravage, and I think it's not really going to affect him too much with the Roche fight, but Luki, This is sad. I really don't want him to go down again here, but oh, everything's just popping on him.
No chance to get away. Nice little sort of two-man game there with Husky and Z-Freak to start it off, and of course came in to finish the job. And now, well, is this enough for them to try and push the high ground, or they actually could take Roshan in about 10 seconds. They don't know it yet, but once it respawns, they will be able to scout it out, and everything's really sort of coming up in an interesting position in terms of objectives, in terms of Roche, in terms of the fact that DogChamp are wrapping all the way around here. So Zoomers could have everything that they want sort of just come directly to them in the next 30 seconds or so, as Ray, he and Moo will exchange pleasantries. No commitment to the fight just yet, and the good news if you're DogChamp is that this entire maneuver has bought enough time for the Sand King to respawn, or maybe not. He needed maybe a second or two more because they are rushing their way in. Can they catch anyone? Ekin is looking like the one who's going to have to be sacrificed here. He does get hit up by the fear. The gush comes through. The sticky bomb will land. Yeah, and they will lose him. But if his death gets everyone else out, I think they're going to be okay with that. But another gush coming in. He's got the ag, so it's just that sort of ground target. And here's the jump. Lukey, though, coming in with the Burrow Strike. They actually get him up with the Epicenter as well as the Dream Coil. So Gunner does get taken down. The Ravage is used defensively, really, more than anything else. But it might work out. It turns the tides long enough. They have lost pretty much everyone other than Nature Lover and Ray. And okay, they're getting out for the time being, but they've got to be careful going back in because that's still a Drow who can hit them very hard if they try to commit.
Yeah, honestly, game-changing ulti from Wookie there, catching both Gunner and Moo really completely off guard, and they just didn't see him. I think the gushes were so focused on the ramp that they didn't see the Sand King going for just the full channel epicenter, and then they totally get kited going up that high ground. They eat so much magic damage, and Costabile does finish the fight out, as he will. He is just that much stronger than the Luna when he is playing at range, but that's also Z-Freak with the shard on Techies, just kind of salvaging everything, and he's still playing a perfect game, you know? The hero that was meant to die in the previous patch is 8-0-12. I mean, man's not really stopping, but that is an unfortunate death for Zoomers because with all the map control they have, they don't get to go into the pit, and I can only imagine DogChamp are going to battle. They're not going to give this one up for free, or at least I don't think they should.
Yeah, they're really not in a position where I think they need to give up on that sort of play. They did end up using a couple of those big ults, but they just need to buy a little bit more time. Epicenter's back up in about 20. The Eclipse is 40 seconds out, so this is not a scenario where Zoomers are rushing back into the pit right this second. So if they can draw this out for just that little bit longer, but this is going to be a big rotation for Zoomers with the full 5-man. They don't have the Ravage, though, so they need other ways in, and they did manage to find one. Ekin going to get taken down. No buyback on the Shaman. And now Lukey going to have to try and dance in the pit. He's looking for the ult, doesn't get it in time. The fear is actually going to disrupt it. Now they need themselves a root. Lukey, though, okay, you don't need a root if he just sort of tries to burrow himself out. Not going to work. Lukey taken down. Now they get a root onto Ray. And this is going to be the issue for this puck. There's just not anything in terms of real survivability. And he just is one root or one leash away from getting completely destroyed. That leads Zoomers into the freest Roche I think that they have seen in quite some time.
No, it's really unfortunate, and in addition to that, well, Costabile is able to pick up the Aghanim Shard, so hypothermia is going to be something they have to deal with next, but most importantly, the race to the Scotty, it looks like, is going to be won by Costabile, meaning that now the Luna, even though you're BKB'd, even though you're running at the Drow, closing the gap is just infinitely harder, and you see in DogChamp's itemization, in their play, everything is about them getting the initial jump. It's why Ray doesn't have a Yule Scepter to deal with the root coming in from the bear, because he knows if he's caught, well, I guess he's probably dead. They need to start the fight, and that's what happened there in stark contrast to the fight they won before. Lukey gets caught out. He gets caught first. They don't get that Blink Burrow Strike. They get no damage.
Oh my god! That was with the BKB on. He just took too much damage. They immediately destroy him, and he has to buy back, but there's no fight.
The attack speed from the Savage Roar, he just melted. There was nothing he could do. It was so casual as well, the way that they just didn't even waltz up to. He's the one that came to them, and, well, even though you bought back, well, mate, you don't have a BKB. It's not like you can show your face anymore. and this is your last Drax. Well, they got to do something.
They've got to make some sort of play here, but look at Husky going in with a preemptive strike, just rolling his way forward. They've caught Loki. Take him down. Ravage, not really hitting onto much more than Ekin, but it keeps the rest of the lineup away. That Eclipse is accomplishing very little, as they already got the racks that they wanted. Luki, though, bought back, goes in, looking for the epicenter, but where's the follow-up damage? It's just not there. Ray tried to jump in, but they just can't do anything. It's just so really uncoordinated from them. Any combos that they want to pull off just haven't gone in their favor, and we haven't seen a GG just yet, ET, but it's got to be coming sometime there. Stonebank will call it GG. It's 4 Zoomers. That's just textbook play. Everything that they needed to do, they pulled it off, executed well, and they walked their way to a pretty dominant win.
And I mean, it's a really good Drow game. It's a really scary Drow game, but man, oh man, it just suddenly became not enough. Your little plays along the way just weren't keeping your head above water. I think Luki had another rough offlane game. He's been really getting the short end of the stick when it came to a lot of these DogChamp series, but he found his initiation once or twice in this game, and hey, it looked good for a few seconds, but the problem ended up being you couldn't deal with both cores on 4 Zoomers. Sure, you can kill the bear, you can take away his Aegis, you can kill his bear twice, but then you have a BKB Drow to deal with, or vice versa. You deal with the Drow, you throw everything at her, sure, you kill him, and then you have the bear to run at you. So it just ended up being way too much to deal with, as well as, hey, Z-Freak kind of made it, you know, a few more days to play with, but made this techies look really gross. I think really just accomplished everything he needed to, especially once he got that Ag Shard. And unfortunately for DogChamp, it was never the case of Z-Freak going in with the suicide or the blast off, getting the stun out, and then dying. It was always him initiating, chaining it up with Husky stun, and then just absolutely decimating the fights. Whoever was getting hit with that blast off was just dead to rights pretty much instantly. And then I think Stonebank dying top just shredded to pieces. Nobody would have seen that coming, but at the same time, just really rough stuff for DogChamp.
Yeah, they just couldn't stand up at the end, and we said in the draft when we saw the techies that the first attempt from Z-Freak was sort of underwhelming. I had questions about, does techies now do the things that you need it to do? Z-Freak said, just hold your horses. It's like the first day of the patch. Let me figure this out, and absolutely did so. 8-0 and 21. That is a stat line that you would have never guessed to see on a techies, but he figured it out, and he wasn't the only one, right? 4 Zoomers really just showing what they're capable of when they're sort of playing at that high level. The execution was nearly flawless.
Yeah, and now if you're, well, the DogChamp, what do? This was your solution to the Tidehunter opening, but then 4 Zoomers just kind of new patch you, and I think really don't give him the LD again, because he was so happy, and he continues to be happy. 4 Zoomers just love taking it late. Whenever you give them this Tidehunter, they're so confident around that 40-minute mark, and I say 40-minute mark, they end the game so much sooner than that. I just feel like you really might need to get even more active heroes on DogChamp. I love the Wisp, I love what the IO gives to you, but it just became an issue of damage, and if you weren't getting that jump, then man, they just looked like they were unable to do anything. Oh boy.
Adjustments needed for that Game 2 draft. We'll see if DogChamp try to switch things up a little bit, because Game 1 does not quite go their way. 4 Zoomers getting themselves a much-needed point here with this opening victory, now looking for the opportunity to get that 2-0 sweep to really keep pace with the rest of the field. So we will be back in about 10 minutes. We'll see if DogChamp can salvage a point, get the 1-1 draw, or if 4 Zoomers are going to be able to clean sweep this 1-2-0.